In 1999, Hendrix changed the modern gin category forever. Did you feel pressure creating another Hendrix?
No, not really. Charlie Gordon, the late life president of William Grants, came to me in the late 90s and said that he was wanting a new gin. And we were quite surprised because at that point in time, the popularity of gin was dropping slightly. But then he explained that he wanted his new gin to be totally different to anything that was on the back bar at the time. He wanted something that had much more depth and complexity, but he also wanted it made in a different way as well. And way back in 1966, he'd bought two stills from an auction in London. He moved them up to the Girvan site, which he'd only just opened at that point as a whiskey distillery, and put them into one of the old buildings that was on the site there. And we'd used these things over the years, but in the late 90s, he said he wanted these two stills used in his new gin. Now, these two stills are completely different. One of them is a small pot still, and the other one is a carter head still. So they operate in a completely different way. And he knew that the two different distillation techniques would give us two completely different distillates. And it was putting those two together that formed the basis of Hendrix. And then at that point in time, in the late sort of 60s, sorry, late 90s, gin still had quite British connotations to it. And what is more British than rose gardens and cucumber sandwiches? So he wanted those two elements added in as well. So he had very clear view on the liquid that he wanted. And, we worked till we got to the point where that was what he got. But we knew that he followed us every step of the way. Every time we did anything, he would have a look at it and we'd have the discussion around it. There was no great pressure. It was quite a lot of understanding as well as to, yeah, we know how they operate, but when you start to put different things into them, then you just see how they perform in the distillation as well. So it was a great learning curve from our point of view, as well as from his, to get to the point where he eventually signed off the liquid and said he was happy with it.
Okay, perfect. Is another Hendrix the opposite of the original or it's a natural evolution?
Well, you've probably sussed this by now, but I'm a very seriously weird person. Okay. And when I nose and taste something, I see it in terms of a shape. And the Another Hendrix has been quite a few years in the development because I really like chocolate and I've been playing with cacao over the years. But cacao, if you put that directly into a gin, it tends to dominate and it just doesn't balance. And all of our liquids, every one of the different variants, we've done our original Hendrix at the core with other elements added to them. So, looking at the cacao, it would have to go into original and it just dominates in it. But I was in Mexico a few years ago and I was given it a drink at the bar and it had a cacao flower as the garnish. And disgustingly, I picked the flower out of the drink and was playing with the flower. And you got the cacao elements, but you got the floral elements as well. And, you're getting sort of slight fruitiness from it. And that kind of set me off thinking that perhaps if I balanced it with flowers, that would make it more, sort of suitable to go into the gin. So playing with different flowers, different ratios, eventually sussed out that if I used orange blossom, which is something that I've got in one of my greenhouses down there, that balance of the cacao and the orange makes it so that it is a balance together and you could put that into the Hendrix. And yes, it's still Hendrix, but it's different. And I always say it's like looking at it from the opposite side, but still Hendrix, but with a totally different sort of appeal to it. Because when you taste it, it's got a slight velvety character to it, which is coming from the cacao. So it's like looking at it from the opposite side. And I know that makes no sense to normal people, but to me, it does.
What do you consider the perfect serve up for another Hendrix? So in gin tonic or another kind of drink? So,
Our our wonderful global brand ambassador here has done some amazing, amazing cocktails. Cocktail is not my forte.
yeah, no, no, no.
I'll take the liquid till
Okay.
I'm happy with it in tonic, but all of the cocktail side of things, I'm more than happy to do quality control on tasting them, but Our
Yeah,
friend
for
here
sure.
is the
So the
person
next
that
question
does
before,
excellent.
uh, why make this a permanent release instead of a limited edition? So you, in the past, you produced many limited edition of
Yeah.
Hendrix gin, and so this is a permanent release,
This
or
is a
not?
permanent release, yes, because it is like the opposite. And it is something that is different to anything else that's out there on the market as well. And it's a really, I think, a really nice liquid. And, because it's got that opposite, for me, opposite character. And we've gone down the route of putting it into the white bottle, which, matches the colour of the orange blossom as well. So, they decided, yes, they would make this a permanent SKU.
So if you look at the cabinet of curiosities, and Leslie, correct me if I'm misspeaking here, but if you look at everything in the sort of a flavor web, all of the cabinet of curiosities expressions are Hendrix gin stretched into a dimension that already exists in our original liquid, right? So, for example, you have the floral notes in Floradora, have uh, floral notes in Midsummer Solstice and a little bit of that spice, and it's amplified in Lunar, for example. So it's taking like an existing flavor profile of Hendrix and they kind of stressing it further in that direction. But with another Hendrix, like Leslie has been saying, it's completely opposite. So it's not quite sitting on that existing flavor web or
Yeah.
Leslie has completely created a new thing, just kind of looking at itself in a mirror.
Yeah.
So yeah, kind of why it's not a limited edition or like not just a limited expression of Hendrix original, but it is a permanent opposite side to the original.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a new expression as well. Oh,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. So the next question was for you. What does today's bartender want more? Flavor, emotion, or storytelling?
Well, I mean, we agreed as
Oh, you can.
science of all. Um, for me, I used to be a bartender once upon a very long time ago. Um, but for me, again, a new gin is exciting when it's bringing a new sort of flavor exploration to, right? Like, why, yeah, make another gin that I can also find from another distiller, for example. And I guess for you, Leslie, that would be
Yes.
incredibly boring as well, right?
Yeah, the flavor elements when you start to look at something that's different and different ways you can emphasize certain characteristics as well, and getting to the point where, yes, it is different, still Hendrix, but you're amplifying certain things. And that different flavor, to me, opens up a whole new world for the bartending community because, I mean, they can do so many different things with it. And I think for them, that is really exciting that they can look at something and not just do the same cocktails. They can do something totally different. And I think this liquid gives them the opportunity to do that because the flavor is so different. So, I mean, look at the cocktails that Charmaine's done, totally different to anything that I've ever tasted before, and they are amazing.
I'm adding on to the storytelling element as well. Like bartenders talk to people, want to engage and share
Yeah.
with other people. So having a good story to share is always either better
Yeah.
or a bartender. Yeah, that's what I would be looking for that as well. And it helps me connect more to to the brands
Yeah.
than the good. It has a good story, an interesting person behind it. If not, it's just another gin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the storytelling is important because all of the different variants of Hendrix that we've done, they all do have a true story sitting behind them. And to me, that's important because, if somebody asks a question, you're telling them the truth. And so the bartenders can then tell that same true story. And I think that's important.
Oh, very interesting. Leslie, what has been your biggest satisfaction from creating another Hendrix gin?
The fact that so many people have come back and said that they really like it, that, and they've come back and said, yeah, it's so different. And that I find really, really good that people are saying it is different. It's allowing us to do totally different things with it as well. And that for me is a big thing that, they're looking at it, but really working with it and doing different things. And I think that's just great. I like that. Uh,
Okay, thank you so much, Julie. Thank you.